Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the M22 Locust, which was actually gifted to me by one of my subscribers, Flyboy805. He also goes by Professor Fickle. But I'd just like to say thank you very much for the M22 Locust, and I've had a lot of fun driving it. And I've had a few games in it now, and I wanted to do a quick review of it just to kind of give people an idea what this thing's about and some of its strengths and some of the weaknesses about it. So if you look at this thing in the tech tree, it just kind of floats around down here at tier 3. It costs 900 gold, which isn't too bad. If you can get this thing on sale, it's actually pretty cool, because then you can use it to train up your crews for your T21 or your T71. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been popping them out of my T71, putting them in my Locust, and then putting them in my combat car. The Locust is so much better than the combat car, though, that it's not even funny. So taking a look at the hit points. Got not too many, it's 250, but not too many tanks have too many hit points at tier 3. So you got 250. You gotta be very careful. You can get one-shotted by a lot of tier 5 stuff and a lot of tier 4 stuff. Well, like Hetzers and Electos and stuff with the derp guns. So this thing's light as a feather. It only weighs 7 tons, which makes the power to weight ratio about 26 horsepower per ton. Is that? Yes. 26.79 actually. So looking at the engine power, you don't have a lot of engine going on in the back there, but you don't have a lot of weight to push around. So that ratio is quite good. 64 top speed is right up there. I mean, it's not 70, but it's not slow, and it's a very, very small target. When you consider how small this thing is compared to like the Chaffee, like look at how much bigger the Chaffee is than the Locust. Like it's just a tiny, tiny little target. Like the T71's not that big, and the Stuart's not that big, but the Locust just, it is a Locust. It's very small. So just the silhouette of this thing being as tiny as it is great. Your traverse speed is 40, which is not bad. At speed, it's not the most nimble turning machine in the world. Clutch braking might not be a bad thing if you were going to run an exclusive crew for this thing, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the premium tank training stuff. But it might be something I'd take on the T71 anyway, just to get better agility and stuff. So the Traverse to 40 is, yeah, it's good, but it's not super fantastic, considering that like the Chaffee's like 46 and the T71 is like 56. This thing is nimble as hell. The looks only has 33, but it feels like it's a lot more nimble than it really is. I'm not sure how that works, but that's the way it works. So looking at the armor, this thing has 20. You can't zoom in any closer, so you can't see any closer, any better detail than what you get right here. So you got 25 in the front, and it's pretty heavily sloped, and pretty big glacis in the front actually, but when it's that big, it's not too big of a target to shoot at. And the rest of the armor really is like 13-13. Any HE round from just about any tank is going to penetrate you and do damage to you, so just do yourself a favor and don't stop moving. The turret armor is 25 all around. You can actually bounce some stuff off this thing because it's pretty heavily sloped in the front, not very much in the sides or the back, but I have bounced some stuff off the mantlet a few times, and it's kind of entertaining when that happens. The gun is a gem. I actually really like this little gun. It fires like a maniac. It's 26 rounds per minute, and 56 penetration at tier 3 isn't bad at all. You can penetrate most stuff pretty easily. You don't maybe want to be engaging like KV1s and stuff. I don't think you can penetrate them almost anywhere. Even shooting at weak points, it's kind of iffy. So just avoid that kind of stuff. Go after the tank destroyers and the arty and the medium tanks, and you'll probably be fine. The average damage of 40 isn't fantastic, but with how much DPM you can put out with the rate of fire, 40 is actually kind of fine. Your accuracy of 0.41 kind of sucks. It's not fantastic, but that's kind of made up by the aim time 1.7, which is awesome. Like you're aiming just as fast as a lot of tank destroyers at that point. So the gun on this thing is actually pretty nice. It's a lot better than a lot of scout tanks that I've driven. It feels like the gun is up to the task at tier 3. So the turret traverse of 40, not bad again. It's not super fantastic, but 40, it doesn't seem to have any trouble catching up the stuff and getting turned on and everything. The view range of 330 at tier 3 isn't bad either. I mean, it's not a tier 5 tank with 400 or 370 or something, but 330 is okay. And if you can combine that with binos, then you'll be up over 400. So that's not too bad. Your signal range of 395 is, it's not great. It's not bad. If it was in the 400s, I'd probably like it a little bit better, but you're not hurting too bad with that. And like the T-71, you only have 3 crew members, which makes it convenient to train up that crew. And the T-7 combat car, I actually have just some cast-off guys from my T-21 and a guy from my T-7 combat car, who I just got so I could run this and throw in a couple other guys from my T-71. So yeah, you got a 3-man crew, and really you're not going to tailor your crew skills towards this tank. They're going to be from your T-21 or your T-71 probably. But if you were to, I mean, you'd want 6 cents. You'd probably want a lot of camo, off-road driving, and I don't know. A lot of skills aren't really going to help this guy too much other than just camo. Get camo, and the one that makes you see farther, situational awareness. So the modules here, I take vents and a camo net and binos. I just pop these 2 off and cycle them around my team. I carry, this thing doesn't hold a whole crap load of ammo, it only holds about 50, but I take about 40 AP rounds, 5 APCR, and 5 HE rounds for resetting stuff. And I do actually carry a kit just in case if I really want to win a game, I might want to use it. And then sometimes I throw my gasoline on here just so I can accelerate faster, because it never hurts to be fast. Especially when you're going to climb hills, you're trying to get away from someone. Every little bit counts. And this thing doesn't do too bad in the credit generation department. So even if you lose, you don't lose money. So it's great if you win. But this only costs about $5,000, so it's not too bad. I think it's kind of fun to run it with it because it's kind of a fun tank. It's not really hyper serious at tier 3 like it is with all the campers at tier 10 and stuff. And that's probably just about it for the review in the garage. There's not much else to go over. I guess size-wise, you can kind of see the combat car is quite big. This thing is actually, like, size-wise about the same size as a D1 Cunningham, which is pretty funny. I don't really have anything else that's really that small after this. I mean, the RAM is huge compared to that thing. It's just funny comparing them. So yeah, just the fact that the target is so small is nice. Okay, I'll show you a couple games and you can kind of see how this thing shakes out when it's fighting stuff. Righto. So M22 Locust. We are on Malnavka, camping map extraordinaire.
Let's go.
And it's a tier 4 game. So I gotta be a little bit careful. A lot of those martyrs can kill me in like 2 or 3 hits. So I'm going to scout. So I'm going to drive down to this bush down here, which gives me a fairly forward position, because I didn't have a good enough position to get any of the bushes on the other side. So from here I can really only see one tank. I got to stop moving around though. Alright, I'm going to wait. Get my cow nut up. And I don't have 6th sense, so I actually don't know if I'm spotted at any point, but the camo rating on this thing seems to be pretty good. So I'm just going to sit here for a bit, and we'll do some passive scouting. I don't really have shots at anything, so... Dum da dum da dum. Sometimes the life of a scout tank is kind of boring. You kind of have to be patient, otherwise you end up dead, like our M5 is going to be. So he got tracked out in the open. And he's dead. So that really probably wasn't worth it for what he managed to do there. Like, he didn't really have enough speed going to romper stomp through. But we annihilated enough of the guys down here that I decided to take a chance and move up. And let's hope I wasn't spotted. I don't know if I was. I'm just going to drive over here. Nope. Spotted him. Which is bad for him. And now he's going to die. So, got a proxy spot kill on him. I'm just going to wait until I get off the radar here. And pop under this bush and see what I can see.
Penetration.
I've got a murder 38T coming, which isn't good. So I'm going to back up, and I should have locked my turret. I don't know why I was aiming my turret backwards. So he's still coming for me, so I'm going to wait for him to come over the ridge. I'm going to blast him. Come here, sucker.
Ricochet.
A bad ricochet there.
Enemy armor
All right.
is damaged. Enemy armor is destroyed.
And my reload time is really fast, and the aim time's really fast, so I got a good advantage. Especially with those tanks, I can penetrate them really easy. I missed that shot.
Penetration.
I got that one.
Enemy armor is damaged.
And that one. Now he's dead. I don't know why he did that. He just was like, I'm going to drive over here and then drive out in the field. Really bad. Alright, let's try and get this guy lit up again. Alright, he's dead. Oh, and there's a tank destroyer. And I don't know where the rest of their guys are. So I gave up, and I drove back into the cap circle. Considering that there was a whole bunch of tanks heading for the cap circle, so. Pull into a bush, and... The other martyr I don't think wants to come out and play at this point. So, ended up winning that game, and it wasn't from a combat standpoint. That wasn't the best example of what this tank can do, but it was able to get in those bushes and get across the field quick, and I was able to get up behind and to the side of the enemies, and I was able to shoot a few of the tanks, did about a 160 damage, and in the end, there was actually about 1100 spotting damage game, and that's not bad in a tier 3, tier 4 game. So that was more of an example of passive scouting. And the next two will be a little bit more combat heavy. Here we are on steps. This is one of the better maps for this tank because it's so wide open, and there's hills and undulations and stuff, but there's enough ridge lines that you can keep your tank fairly hidden. And it's a tier 4 game again. I'm not top tier. Well, I don't really care about if I'm top tier in a scout tank anyway. So I'm going to drive across the open field here. So I'm just going to assume that these guys are too crappy to hit me. So I'm blasting across. I'm doing about 60. Even uphill I'm doing 60. And then downhill I can do about almost 70. So I get all the way over here and I spot nothing. I'm way over here before any of my team is. So I just stay up on top of the hill here and throw them with the binos up and the camo net up and see who's going to show up. So we'll speed it up a bit.
Enemy is hit.
So I shot him, but then I got shot by the Panzer, so it's time to fall back a little bit. And I'll poke around the corner. And we've got a lot of tanks over here now. Lots of stuff to shoot at.
Penetration.
Shot into Scuba Scout there.
That one didn't go through.
The Lee's actually got decent enough armor that it bounces shots for me sometimes.
Enemy armor is hit. Enemy is hit.
And I'm just unlucky not to get the kill on that.
Ricochet.
Ricocheted on the Stuart.
Enemy armor is hit.
And he rams into the hill and
Penetration.
not watching where he's going. Getting shot up too much while he was doing. I don't know why he suicided into there. That didn't make any sense
Enemy
to do
is
that.
hit. Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy armor is hit.
There's a bunch of tanks over here. And the LTP is just sitting out in the open
We didn't even scratch them.
with his kick
Enemy
butt armor.
is damaged.
Okay, so I can pop out and shoot so fast. It's awesome. I love this tank. So I'm just popping out, seeing who's over there. And I can pull into cover so fast that I don't really worry about getting shot too much. So aim, get up here, take snapshots. A lot of these guys aren't really offering too much of a target now, so I decide that I'm just gonna change what's going on. Well, most of my team's over here, so I decide to go on a different sort of raid mission. And with so many tanks in that area, I just assumed that we'd cap out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go over and see if I can find some TDs or the RD or something. Gotta find something to shoot, considering I shot up a whole bunch of guys and didn't get any kills from it. So we're doing our speed of 64. You can see at top speed here when it turns, it's not the most super fast turning tank, which is one of the drawbacks of it. You can see from where I took my shots, most stuff just goes right through, especially if it's the Martyr shooting at you. So where is the Artie? I gotta get him before we cap. And for whatever reason, some of the other guys aren't in the cap. They're like trying to follow me over here, like there's a whole marauding bunch of tanks that are just hanging back over by their spawn area. So I spot the artillery.
Penetration. Enemy armor
Bango.
is damaged.
Bango.
Enemy is hit.
Bango.
Penetration.
Oh, are you kidding me? And then to cap it off, watch this crap. That shot I think went like right through him. And I don't want to get blasted by the Hetzer, so I let him start worrying about the other guy and I pull up and...
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy armor.
Yay, so I got a kill on the Hetzer. That was not the most prolific kill game, but I ended up getting Confederate out of it. And that was my Ace Mastery badge. I did 640 damage. And not too much spotting, I'm only at 160. But out of 26 shots, I hit 20 and 17 went in. So the gun's good, the mobility's good, and in these types of tier 3 and tier 4 games, it's fun. Even in tier 5 games, it's fun. You can still damage a lot of stuff. So we'll go on to the last game and kind of see in an urban environment a little bit more how this thing handles. Saving the best for last. So this is on Ensk, which is a lot different than the other two maps.
Let's get this show on the road.
Seeing how this thing can do in a more of an urban environment. So I'm going to drive through here, and one thing about the Locust is when you run into stuff, it really slows you down. With the way the physics work, you can run into these walls, but they really hinder how much speed you can carry through. So you want to watch out if you can. Don't hit too much stuff, because a lot of stuff will slow this thing down. So lucky me, this is actually a tier 3 battle. This doesn't happen too often, but this thing doesn't get the really hyper aggressive scout matchmaking that tier 4 scout tanks get, like the Lukes and things. Like, we got this guy out in the open. Panzer 2G.
Enemy armor is damaged.
EV thickens.
Enemy armor is destroyed. We didn't even scratch them.
And those LTPs, they got pretty decent frontal armor. They're able to bounce my gun. He bounced one of my shots last game too. Uh-oh. I don't really like those T-18s. It's kind of like the stat padding tank of choice for the people that do the stat padding. And that was already shooting at me. Because obviously he probably had XVM or something, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna shoot that guy. He's not bright red.
That one didn't go through.
That was a really close shot by the arty.
That one bounced.
Oh. Okay. The LTP seems to be my equal when it comes to shooting at... Well, there's another shot.
Ricochet. Penetration.
Don't want to get shot by that guy too much more. So I'm in a bit of a bad position here. There's a lot of guys around me.
Enemy armor is damaged.
But I gotta get this guy out of the game because he's dangerous.
Penetration.
Shoot. Yeah.
They're knocked out.
So Su-76, he is dead. And right now I'm kind of deciding what I want to do next. I'm deciding I'm going to go where I have some support dudes. So I swing wide over here, and I'm going to take some driving shots at the LTP.
Penetration.
Nice shot on the move.
Got him.
Another shot on the move. I'll take that. And now it's time to find some T-18 back here maybe. Dun, 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 dun. But after having that arty shoot at me the whole game, I decide that I'm going to go vector him, because that pisses me off when I get targeted. There's no reason for him to target me. It's not like I was doing a heck of a lot at the beginning of the game.
Penetration.
Unfortunately for me, he drives away.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
That was a nice one hit point shot on that other dude there. Woohoo! Alright, so gotta carry my speed. Live, breathe fast, Locust. Breathe fast.
They're knocked out.
Nice firing shot in the move. And now we're being capped, which really sucks. So I'm going to try and get back here, but I want to take a different vector. Let's see. I got a shot at that fella.
Enemy armor is damaged.
So that was enough to reset a little bit. Now I'm going to shoot. What can I shoot? God. Too much stuff in the way. Come on. Come on, something. Ugh. So I have to reset. I have to reset. I gotta get in here. These guys are calling for the draw. But we got a Panzer 1C going in one way. We got the Locust going in the other way. And I got a spot at the Locust, or the LTP.
Enemy is hit. Penetration.
And that fella's... Yeah, so that is what a win looks like. My camera actually went inside out there for a bit, and we ended up winning that game because we were able to get back and reset. But that was a good 5 kill game. Did about 600 damage again, not as much spotting damage, but it was nice to be able to take out that many tanks, especially when it's a tier 3 game. And just taking a quick overall look at the Locust, like there's not a lot not to like about the thing. The profile is small, silhouette small. The gun is decent. It shoots fast. It aims fast. The accuracy is okay. Most tanks don't have super fine accuracy at tier 3. Yeah, the maneuverability is good. The armor actually bounces stuff every once in a while, but it's a good little scout tank. I had this one gifted to me, but if I were a diehard T71 driver, or just for fun, this is a fun tank that's not too expensive. I mean, it's only 900 gold, so that translates probably to about $7 or $8. And uh, for some people that might be worth it. For some people it might not. Um, I personally, I think this tank should be more about $5 at most. I mean, it's tier 3, and there isn't a tier 8 American light tank that's used in tournaments and stuff. Um, so I don't know too many people that are training their crews up for their T21s that they love. Most people hate the T21. I didn't mind it. The T71 is another. It's a really decent tank. Like I like it a lot, but again, it's not used in the 42-7 format either because it's not tier 8. Um, there kind of should be a tier 8 light tank from the Americans just to kind of make this M22 Locust a little bit more relevant because there aren't a lot of like you're not going to buy the Locust so you can soup up your M5 Stuart, which is a pile of crap. I hated that tank with a passion. I would drive this tank over and over again 100 times before I'd want to drive my Stuart again because I hated that bloody thing. So I wish that there was a tier 8 to kind of justify this thing's existence a little bit better. Same with the T7 combat car. I like that I can use it to level up my T71, but it would be better if there was a tier 8 tank that was worthy of being in more competitive type stuff. I mean, if you're a competitive player, if you just love your T71 or your T21 or your Stuart, then that's great. Or your M3 Stuart, that's great. But um, just for me, I think it would be nice if there was another tier 8 to kind of give the NX 1390s and the WZ132s a run for their money. But overall, yeah, M22 Locust is a lot of fun, and I like it a lot. And that's going to conclude this review. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see some more videos, you can subscribe. I'll be pumping out more over the next few days and into the coming weeks and months. So, one other thing that helps me is also if you don't run ad blocker on my videos. Or not on my videos, but on anyone's YouTube videos for the people that are actually like doing this, try and supplement their income and stuff. But yep, thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.